Hello and welcome to this training called Become a Recruiting Master with Co-op Advertising. How to create massive duplication in any team through the power of leverage. Now, you might be wondering, what is co-op advertising? Well, co-op advertising is basically this. It's where the cost of an ad is split between a small group of your team members, and this team shares equally in the number of leads generated from the ad. So instead of one individual buying a huge ad, maybe a $1,000 banner on a website or a blog, that advertising cost is split between multiple team members. So each of those team members shares in the overall cost of the advertising, and they each also share equally in the number of leads generated from that particular ad. So why use co-op advertising? Well, co-op advertising is a great shortcut for new team members because a lot of your team members are going to be beginners. They really don't have any clue about exactly where to advertise and the best spots and the best sites and the best places. And so this is a shortcut where people can sign up into your team and immediately have the opportunity to get some leads coming in through your co-op advertising program. Another reason why I recommend co-op advertising is that it gets fast results for your team members. So on day number one, somebody can join your team. They can immediately join one of your ad co-ops, and within 72 hours or less, they can start generating some actual traffic and leads into their system. Another reason why I recommend co-op advertising is that it's lower cost than paying full price for an ad. So again, there's a lot of advertising out there that's very expensive. It can be hundreds, even thousands of dollars. But by taking one individual ad and breaking it down into pieces, into different shares, well, each individual team member actually pays less. Now, obviously, they're getting fewer traffic and fewer leads, but they're also spending less money. And over time, as they build up their team and as they're making more money, then they can actually start to take that money and put it towards larger and larger advertising on their own. This is really a shortcut way for new people who are brand new and maybe don't have a lot of money for advertising to come in and be successful early on, build up their team, build up their income, and then start to be able to place their own advertising later on. It also lets you place bigger ads for lead generation. So let's say, for example, you want that big $1,000 banner on a major home business website, but you don't have $1,000. Well, you can actually do an ad co-op, and you can have your team run the banner through the advertising co-op concept I'm going to be showing you on this training. And now you've got that banner. The money didn't come out of your pocket. It came out of individually the pockets of people on your team. And as that team grows, as that ad generates leads and it signs up people underneath your team members, in the network marketing industry, that benefits you. So you want your team members to be getting a lot of traffic and leads and new signups, because if the compensation plan in your company is set up in the right way, that's a real boon for you. And what was your cost out of pocket for that ad? It was zero, because the cost was actually shared by the members of your team. And this points to the last reason why co-op advertising is so powerful, because it can create massive duplication. Because just imagine if you have a very small number of people on your own team, maybe 5, 10, 20 people, and all those people chip in to buy a bunch of advertising, and then the team doubles. Let's say it goes from 10 people to 20. Well, now you've got 20 people who can now go out and place even more ads through this advertising co-op concept, and now that team can grow from 20 to 40, and that team can then grow from 40 to 80, 80 to 160. So co-op advertising can really create some massive duplication for you and your team with not very much money coming out of your own pocket. Again, if you've set it up the right way, all the advertising for your entire team can come from your team members. And they're not paying that much because you're splitting up the cost of the advertising between lots of different people instead of one individual having to pay the entire cost for maybe a larger ad. So I highly recommend using co-op advertising. I personally generated over $900,000 in co-op advertising monies to build my teams in various companies and opportunities, and it's been absolutely super successful, and it's still a method that works really, really well. Now here's the simple co-op advertising system that I'm going to go over on this training. First of all, you're going to want to find an ad that you want to place to generate leads. And we'll talk about the different type of advertising, but just think, where would I personally like to place advertising right now to generate leads for my current opportunity? That's step one. Step two is we break up the ad cost into shares, and we'll talk about how to do it. It's very simple to do. Next, we'll talk about setting up the selling process to sell those shares to your current team members. Then we'll talk about promoting that ad co-op to your team to let everybody know that you've got shares in an ad co-op available to them so they can go ahead and purchase the shares. And then finally, we're going to show you how to set up the rotator and run advertising so that your ad co-op can actually be launched and you can start generating traffic and leads and new signups for the people in your team. It's a very simple process, and as we go through it, you'll see it really is super simple to do. First, you want to find an ad that you want to place, and this can be banner ads on home business blogs and websites. You can go to Google and search home business or network marketing or multi-level marketing or make money from home, and some of those top search engine results are blogs and websites with just an absolute ton of traffic, and many of these websites sell banner advertising or button advertising on their website. Now some, charge per impression, but a lot of them charge per month. So you can actually run your banners or buttons on those websites month after month after month, generating a constant flow of traffic and leads and signups. You can also run solo emails. These are emails that you can have running and have emailed out to thousands or even tens of thousands of people. One of the places that I recommend is Udemy, which is a solo email directory. This is a directory of lots of people that have business opportunity and network marketing and home business email lists, and these lists can be in the thousands or tens of thousands of people, and they will actually allow you to email your opportunity to their list. And the great thing about this is there's an absolute ton of providers in Udemy who will allow you to purchase a solo email sent to their list. So it's a really great website that I highly recommend checking out when you look at where you want to place advertising. Next, there's click packages. You can actually just say, look, I just want traffic. All I want is to get a specific amount of traffic. Well, the clickagency.com actually can send you a specific amount of traffic. Let's say you want 100 people to check out the opportunity, or 200, or 500, or 1,000, or 2,000. Well, you can go to the clickagency.com and they can actually have that specific number of people sent directly to your particular website, your replicated website, your lead capture page, your opportunity page, whatever page you're going to be using to promote your particular opportunity. I highly recommend it. I've used the Click Agency's traffic for many, many years now, and it's some of the highest traffic out there. So highly recommend it. You can also use postcards, and I would recommend going to the major search engines and just searching for other marketing opportunities. Go out there and look for, banner ads and buttons and solo emails and click packages and all this other type of advertising in the home business industry. And then also ask yourself, where would you like to advertise? If you had an unlimited amount of money, where would you like to advertise? Where do you want to advertise? Do you want to advertise on Facebook? Do you want to advertise on YouTube? Do you want to advertise on Instagram? Do you want to advertise in some of the home business magazines? Do you want to run postcards? Do you want to print mail postcards out to business opportunity seekers or business opportunity buyers? What type of advertising would you like to do? And make a list. Just make a list, an entire list of all the different places that you would like to advertise. And you'll have just a huge opportunity to do ad co-ops with all of those different companies. Next, you're going to break up your ad cost into shares. Now remember, one individual isn't paying for the entire amount of the ad. You're actually breaking up the ad cost into multiple different shares. So you're going to break the ad cost into a small number of shares. I usually recommend anywhere from 5 shares to 20. You don't want to go and sell 100 shares of an ad, and I'll talk about that here in just a moment. But let's say for an example, you find a $1,000 banner that's going to run for 30 days on a major home business website that gets just an absolute ton of traffic. What you can do is you can split that $1,000 banner into 10 shares, which would mean that you're going to be charging $100 per share. Now, as you can see, $100 is affordable for most people to pay for advertising. $1,000 is not. Not everybody can afford the $1,000 banner, but you can find 10 people on a team that could each pitch in $100 and get 1/10 of the traffic from that particular banner. And because this banner is on a very high trafficked website or blog, 1/10 of the traffic and 1/10 of the leads and 1/10 of the signups from that banner can be substantial. It can be well worth $100, especially if you're in an opportunity where you're making over $100 per referral. Let's say, for example, you're making $200 as a fast start bonus whenever somebody joins your team, and somebody in this particular ad co-op pays $100 for 1/10 of the traffic that comes in from this particular banner. And let's say that each individual person gets one sign up, just one sign up, but they make $200 in a fast start bonus after they've paid out the $100 for the advertising. They've just doubled their money. Now you might say, getting one person from an ad isn't phenomenal, but you also have to look at the return on investment. You're putting in 100, you're getting back 200, you're doubling your money. So what are they going to do next month? Well, they're going to put another 100 in, and the next month, and the next month. And if they keep getting the same results, your team's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. Now, remember when I talked about not splitting the ad cost into too many shares? And here's why. The more shares you have, obviously, the lower the cost per share. So if you have a $1,000 banner and you say, hey, I've got 100 spots, 100 shares, well, obviously it's going to be very affordable for everybody because they are only paying $10 per share. But here's the catch. The more shares you have, the less leads each person gets. So if you've got a $1,000 banner and you've got 100 people in that advertising co-op for that particular banner, sure, they're only paying $10, but they're going to get 1/100th of the traffic and the leads and the referrals from that particular banner. So yeah, they're paying a lot less money, but they're also getting a lot less results. So you need to balance the two. You need to make sure that the amount of money that they're going to be paying is affordable, $25, $50, $100, but also there's not so many shares with that particular ad that they're going to be getting, 1/50th or 1/100th of the amount of traffic that's coming in. Getting 1/10 of the amount of traffic that comes in from a banner that gets a lot of traffic is awesome, much better than 1/100th or 1/1000th. So make sure you break your ad cost up into a small number of shares so that it's affordable, but it also gives people a significant amount of traffic. You want your people to be very successful so that they will advertise over and over again in your future advertising co-ops. Next, you want to set up your selling process to sell these shares. Now, there's a very simple way to do this. A lot of people want to make it very complicated, but there's a simple selling process, and that's this. You send a simple email to your team letting them know you're opening up a brand new advertising co-op opportunity and that you've got, describe it, say, hey, there's this $1,000 banner on this particular blog or website. They get 1 million visitors every single month, and we've got it reserved, and there's 10 spots right now available for $100 each, and you're going to share in the traffic from this banner for the next 30 days. And let them know, look, there's a limited number available. There's only 10 spots available for this particular banner ad. And then you're going to direct them to a PayPal order link. Now, obviously, you need a business PayPal account, but you can actually set up a PayPal order button or a PayPal order link that has a specific limited number of spaces or shares. So you can actually go into PayPal, and obviously this isn't a PayPal training, but PayPal can walk you through it step by step. But once you're inside your PayPal account, you can actually set up a button or a link with a limited number of spaces. So back to our example of the $1,000 banner. If you split that up into 10 different shares, well, you go into PayPal, you set up the order link for this $1,000 banner, and you set it up for $100, and you say there's only 10 available spots. What's going to happen is once all 10 of those spots sell out, then that PayPal link, when that 11th person clicks on it trying to buy, the 11th person is going to see that it's all sold out. Sorry, you can't purchase it. That keeps you from having to mess with refunding people after the first 10 spots are sold out. And again, documentation for exactly how to do that is in your PayPal back office. And that's the easiest way to do it. You should have everybody who's on your network marketing or opportunity team in an email list or at least in a Facebook group. And then whenever you have a new advertising co-op opportunity, simply let them know what the opportunity is, where the ad is, how much traffic it's getting, how many shares you have of that particular ad package. And again, I usually recommend 5, 10, or 20. And then let them know exactly how they can purchase. Include your PayPal order link and tell them, go to town. As soon as these are sold out, we're going to place the ad, and then we're going to have future ad co-op opportunities in the future. That's the easiest way to do it. No special website design, setup, anything like that. Now, if you have a little bit more experience and you know how to set up web pages on the internet, you can go a little bit more complex. You can actually create your own advertising co-op offer web page. In fact, some of the people I know that have used co-op advertising very, very successfully create multiple web pages for all different types of advertising co-ops they do. They'll do click packages and banner ads and buttons and postcards. And so for each one of those different type of advertising co-op packages, they will have a different web page. And then every time they redo it, so for example, a banner might only run for 30 days. So in January of one year, they've got the web page for the January banner on this particular blog. And then in February, they'll have another web page for the February version of that banner on that particular blog. Because they want to make sure that as long as an ad is working and it's generating high quality traffic and leads and signups, then they want to keep that advertising running. And so as you do this and as you start seeing results, just like myself and other people who have used the advertising co-op process, you're going to want to make it more and more sophisticated so that you're starting to build up your team through more and more advertising co-op opportunities. So the more complex way to do it, again, this is only if you have experience with setting up your own web pages, but you can create your own advertising co-op offer web page. It's really simple to do. You just have a headline saying, advertising co-op opportunity. You might include a little description about the advertising you're going to place, where it is at, how much traffic that ad usually gets, and then set up an ordering process that allows people to go ahead and pay. Now you can set up this sales page using a lot of different software that's available out there. There's Optimized Press, ClickFunnels, Lead Pages. Obviously, you can search in Google and find those various companies. They do cost some money to be able to use that software, but they make it very simple to create sales pages, and definitely for simple sales pages like the advertising co-op sales pages, it's very simple to put together. Next, if you want an order form, I highly recommend using JVZoo. JVZoo works with PayPal, so you'd still be processing orders with PayPal, but JVZoo gives you the opportunity to create a really great looking order form that people can fill out for each of your advertising co-op packages. So again, this is a little bit more complex process, but you could literally run dozens and dozens of advertising co-op packages and opportunities for your team members simply by using either an email to your team directed to a PayPal link, or if you've got everybody in a Facebook group, just posting in your Facebook group that you're opening up a brand new advertising co-op opportunity, and you'd be good to go. Next, you want to promote that ad co-op offer to your team. And again, this is just going back over what I just talked about, but you email your team or you promote it in your Facebook group. And mention the benefit. You want to focus on the benefit. Done for you advertising. People in opportunities, network marketing opportunities, top tier opportunities. In many cases, they're beginners, they're newbies, they haven't had a lot of success. And so they want somebody else to do the advertising for them, at least at the beginning. Now, some people are willing to kind of figure out things on their own, but at the beginning, a lot of people like done-for-you advertising. So I would mention that in your email or in your Facebook group that you have done-for-you advertising available, and then get more into the specifics. You'll also want to make sure that you stress that there's a limited number of spots and specify the number of spots that you have available. Again, if it's 5, 10, or 20, let them know you've only got a limited number of spots available for your advertising co-op package. And then include the order link. And that order link can be directly to PayPal, or if you want a nice looking order form, you can use JVZoo, which also works with PayPal. So I highly recommend using PayPal for these advertising co-op packages, just because it's very easy to use, and I think you'll get the best bang for your buck. Next, once you sell out of all of your spots, so let's say you've got 10 spots at $100 each, and you've got 10 team members who pay $100 per spot. Now it's time to set up your rotator and actually run the ads. So as an individual buys one of the shares of your advertising co-op, you're going to ask that member in the co-op to provide you the link to the replicated website. So everybody on your team obviously should have either a company replicated website, or in many cases they'll have a system URL. So if you're in some of these companies that have multiple system providers, they might have a system that they purchased into, and I would highly recommend using that. So you want to get a link from everybody that is in your particular advertising co-op. Then what you're going to want to do to make sure that everybody gets an equal share of the traffic from the advertising is put all of those links in a link rotator so you can create one main link to advertise. And what's going to happen is you're going to put that one link, that rotator link, in the ads. So that's going to go behind the banner. It's going to go behind the button. It's going to go in the emails, right? And so all the traffic is going to hit one link. But what a link rotator does is that it delivers one click to the first website in the rotator and the next click to the next website, and it goes through all the websites in that particular rotator, and then it starts over, and then it goes down the list, and then it starts over, and then down the list. What this does is it gives every single link in the rotator an equal amount of traffic. And so by using a link rotator, you have the ability to automate the process of giving everybody in your ad co-op an equal amount of traffic without having to worry if it's working or not. The link rotator does it automatically, and all you have to do is make sure you're driving all the traffic to the one link rotator link. It makes it super simple. Now, there's a couple different ways you can find a link rotator. You can go to clickmagic.com, which I've included here on the slide. ClickMagic, their software, a little bit higher priced. It has a lot of features, and it might be too feature rich just to use as a link rotator. If you're going to create a lot of link rotators, you might want to ultimately upgrade to this, but they do have link rotators in their system. Another thing you can do is search Google for link rotator software. And believe me, you're going to find a lot of link rotator software out there. And once you find the software that you want to use, all you're going to do is you're going to take all those links again and you're going to put them in the link rotator software. The link rotator software is going to give you one link for that rotator that you're going to place in your advertising, and you're going to use that rotator link in your advertising. Again, it's going to be going behind the banner, behind the button, in the solo emails, or to the click package company. It can even be used on postcards. What you can do is usually the link rotator links are very long and ugly. If you're going to be using this concept in print ads, let's say for example you're running a print ad in a home business publication or even on a postcard, what you can do is you can get a low-cost domain name for $10, $15, get a short .com domain name, and then have that domain name forwarded to your link rotator URL. And then you're going to take that .com domain name, that new one that forwards people to the rotator, and you're going to put that in your print advertising. And the reason you want to do that is that when people actually see the .com website address, either in the print ad or on a postcard, you want them to be able to easily type that in to their address bar on their web browser. And so you don't want one of these long rotator links that has a lot of information in the link to be seen, because if they mistype anything, they're not going to be able to go to the website and you're going to miss out on valuable traffic. But you only use this really when you're working with print advertising of some sort, where somebody actually sees the website address and they're going to have to type it in. If you're doing online stuff where the URL is hidden behind a graphic or a banner or something like that, you don't have to worry about getting a .com domain name and doing any forwarding. So it makes it easier if you're doing this for online advertising. So what's next? Well, once you've successfully completed one ad co-op campaign, then do more. Do banner ads, do solo emails, do clicks, do postcards, do direct mail, do social media advertising, things like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Once you do one, and obviously your first one's going to be brand new and you're going to, it's going to take a little bit longer because you're trying to figure everything out right in the moment. But believe me, once you do more and you've successfully completed it, then the next one's going to get easier and the next one's going to get easier. And pretty soon you're going to be doing these ad co-op campaigns over and over and over again, building up your team, building up the money, building up the success stories in your group. It's really going to take off and create some massive duplication for you. So don't just stop with one. Really commit to this concept and do many, many, many over time, and you're going to see some really massive viral duplication. Now here, let's wrap up with some tricks of the trade with advertising co-ops. First, you want to promote ad co-op in your recruiting materials. Most people in network marketing or top-tier opportunities know what an advertising co-op is, and many people actually look for advertising co-op opportunities. So make sure that if you're going to be creating these advertising co-ops on a regular basis, that you promote that you do ad co-ops in your recruiting materials. So if you've got a website, if you're sending out emails, if you're doing any type of marketing, postcard marketing, magazine marketing, whatever, make sure that you mention in the marketing materials that you run regular advertising co-ops, because I promise you that's going to attract people who might not feel confident in doing their own advertising, but they are attracted to advertising co-ops. Now you might have a question about, what do you do if you've got no team? What if you're starting out brand new in an opportunity and you've got zero team? Well, what I recommend doing in that case is running an ad co-op for your sponsor or somebody higher up in your organization, and then keep one spot for yourself. So let me give you an example of what that looks like. So for example, let's say that you want to run this $1,000 banner ad on this massive home business blog, and you don't have anybody on your team. Well, what I would recommend that you do is go to your sponsor or go to somebody in your upline that has a large team and say, look, I would like to help your team members really start to grow and start to recruit and get a lot of traffic and leads and new signups. I'm actually running an ad co-op where I'm placing this $1,000 banner on this home business blog, and I'd like to offer it to your people. And so what you're going to do is you're going to keep one spot for yourself. So really, you're only going to be selling 9 spots to your sponsor's team, and you're going to keep one spot for yourself. So you're going to pay $100 for your spot, and then you're going to actually sell out the other 9 spots for $100 each. So this is great because it's giving you the opportunity to get 1/10 of the traffic and the leads and the signups. And as you start getting people in from that traffic, well, guess what? Now you can go to the people that you've signed up through the advertising co-ops you've done with your sponsor, and now you can go to them and you can start doing ad co-ops together. Now, obviously, when you start out, let's say you've got a team of 2, 3, 4, 5 people, obviously you're going to have a smaller group, but you can now go to those people and you can say, look, let's pool our money together. Let's each put in $100 and let's, get a $500 ad out there. Let's get a $500 banner or a button on a different website. Let's run some postcards. Let's do all these different type of marketing things. And believe me, if you've got a serious group of people that have just joined and they're excited about advertising and excited about your opportunity, they're going to be willing to put in $100 to start doing some advertising, and then that 5 people can turn into 10, can turn into 20, can turn into 40, and that can really grow over time. Another thing you can do, and this is especially as your team gets larger, is you can offer monthly ad co-op shares of $25 a month to $50 per month. So Instead of having to go out every single month and say, hey, I've got another advertising co-op, it's $100, or hey, I've got another advertising co-op, it's $50, you can actually sign people up and say, if you'd like to get regular traffic and leads, well, sign up for our monthly advertising co-op of $25 to $50 a month, and we'll automatically put you into an ad co-op that's ongoing. So every single month that you pay the $25 or the $50, we're going to put you into an ongoing ad co-op so you constantly get a flow of leads. Now imagine if you've gotten 10, 20, 50, 100 people paying you $25 to $50 a month to do advertising co-ops. I mean, all you'd be doing is running these advertising co-ops, getting a ton of new leads in, a ton of new recruits coming in, and your team could just be growing and doubling and quadrupling over and over and over again, be very, very successful. Another thing to think about is it's important to have a high converting recruiting system to turn leads into members. You can have the best ads out there running and generating a lot of traffic and leads, but if you're sending people to very poor websites that don't convert, they don't capture leads, it doesn't really work that well, then people are going to be throwing their money down the drain. And so I highly recommend only using this ad co-op method if you're directing people to lead capture pages and recruiting systems that work really, really well. If you don't, create one. Find somebody out there that has one for your particular company. See if you can use it and get your team into it. You want to make sure that you're always giving your team the best of the best materials to market with, and that should definitely include a recruiting system that does a good job of turning leads into new members. And then finally, you want to look for and test new advertising options regularly. So keep your eyes peeled for new places for banners and buttons and classified ads even, or display ads in magazines or postcards, or just keep your eyes peeled for brand new interesting places that you can advertise and test it. Do a quick test, do an advertising co-op and let your members know, hey, I want to test this new spot out and let's see what happens. And if it works, great. That can actually now be set up to be another regular place where you're doing advertising co-ops to generate leads and new referrals for your team. If not, well, then you say, hey, that didn't work and we're moving on. And so by doing that, you're constantly going to have lots and lots of advertising co-op opportunities. And again, the more advertising co-ops that you do for your team, the larger your team is going to grow. So that's the entire training on how to become a recruiting master with co-op advertising. It's very, very simple to do. Most people don't do it simply because they just don't understand how simple it is to do. If you need to, go back through this training, walk through it step by step, but believe me, it's very simple to do. Most of the people that I know that have become very successful at doing ad co-ops started without a speck of training. They simply understood the concept of taking any type of an ad, breaking it down into shares, and selling those shares off to their team members, and then sending the traffic into a rotator and making sure everybody got the same amount, the equal amount of traffic and leads. And then as those people turn into referrals, now you've got a brand new crop of excited people who want to join your next advertising co-op, which is going to bring in more leads and more referrals, and those people are going to want to join the next and the next and the next. And that's really how you can make massive money with advertising co-ops. I hope you get a lot of value out of that, and I hope you use it to successfully create large teams and a lot of income in any opportunity.